Greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings, greetings. I'm happy to be here. Thankful to have you here with us. Thankful to have you here with us. Brothers and sisters, we're in an amazing time. This time is amazing. So I'm so thankful very much. I'm seeing a little glossy right now. I'm seeing some clouds. So I'm going to go get my glasses, and we're going to be ready to talk about this subject that we have about Tamika Mallory. Tamika Mallory. We know, and we got the knowledge now. We have the knowledge now. She's somebody that the Black community should be aware of, and they're using her. They're using her to stop the Black movement. And again, they're using her to stop the Black movement. So we've got to be wise. We got to be steadfast, and we got to be unmovable, brothers and sisters. We got to be wise because we have agents all around us. Not that we didn't think that she was an agent, but we have to have proof. So now we have the proof, and now we know. So we've got to be steadfast. I tell you again, unmovable, always abounding in the work that God has put before us. So that when we're doing work, we're doing His work. So brothers and sisters, if you excuse me just briefly, I'm going to get my glasses because right now I'm seeing clouds. And I'll be right back. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. So glad to be back in front of you. Let's talk about this subject. Talk about Tamika Mallory and how she has snowed the Black community. How she has literally snowed the Black community. She doesn't have a plan, and she sat around to sprinkle water. That's what she's doing on the fire. Just enough water. Excuse me, brothers and sisters, on the fire to put out the heat, right? To cool it off, cool the fire off. We're trying to stand up. Besides, she's with the Black Lives Matter jive, right? She's right along there with them. And then this Me Too movement, right? And that movement is set aside to attack Black men. Yeah, you got to know it. See, I want you to know. I don't want you to be ignorant, right? Isn't that what God says, brothers and sisters? He said, I wouldn't have you ignorant. We have to understand exactly what's going on, what they're doing against us. And they do anything, they're doing it against us. You got to understand that when they make the move that they make, the moves are against the Black men. We have to understand that. You and I have to understand that. So what I want you to understand is that God has given the Black man a plan through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. God has given us that plan. Nobody but God, right? And what God has put together, let no man put asunder, right? God put the Black man and Black woman together. The white man has driven a wedge between us, right? And we have to say this, that when you look at Tamika Mallory, you're looking at another feminist movement. That's what you're looking at. And they desired to keep her a certain way, brothers and sisters. Her narrative is a tearjerker narrative, right? About losing her baby's father, right? And she's going out on this quest, right? From another informant of the CIA and FBI, Al Sharpton. Common knowledge. So if she's coming from him, she can't be good. She's learning infiltration and invalidation, right? She makes men non-valid, right? Non-valid. That's what she does. And she goes against the Black nationalist movement. She goes against it. So anytime you see any kind of integration in a movement, now what you do in your personal life is your business. What you do in your personal life is your business. I pray that you live wisely in your personal life. This is my prayer. Because in your personal life, it should be indicative of your nationalist stand. But what you do, you'll have to pay the consequences for. That's yours. That's yours. You'll have to pay the consequences for it. But brothers and sisters, when you talk about nationalism, black nationalism, that means there's no white people involved. They can help us, but they can't join us. And you have to understand that if they help us, you owe us anyway. 400 years of slavery and this great country that's been built, you can throw as much money as you want to our way, but you can't join us. And I think that's the problem, that we have too many whites joining us in black movements. And when we do that, we destroy it. Again, your nationalistic stand has to benefit your individual stand. And your individual stand has to benefit your nationalistic stand. Now, brothers and sisters, I want to take time to apologize to you. I didn't get a chance to shave 3 times today. Again, you see the shadows on my face. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long for it to come on. But I want to apologize to you for the fact that it is on my face. Because I'm taught better to do better, and I've got to master the time to be able to make sure that there's nothing else is on my face as I come before you. And I'm going to work on that. So I ask you to forgive me. I'm not happy with this type of presence, so I can only imagine how it makes you feel. But brothers and sisters, we have a job to do. Today, our eyes have to be open. Our eyes have to be open. This is very important. Thank you. It's important that our eyes be open so that we can see the danger that we're under. We're in danger today. And you got to know that. You got to know that. Brothers and sisters, the danger that we're under today is twice as dangerous than yesterday. Because today they don't even want to admit that the problem exists. And that's the thing that you got to know. If the problem doesn't exist, then that means the history doesn't exist. And if the history doesn't exist, then what are we fighting for? And if you don't know what you're fighting for, then you go into other levels of slavery. You have to understand that. You have to understand it. You have to understand it. So you and I are in a fight. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. It's been a long day. We're in a fight for our very lives. That's what you and I are in. We're in a fight for our very life. And it's horrible. The fate is terrible, right? It's a terrible fate that you and I face. Terrible. Because you have to understand, when you really know what's going on, when you really, really, really understand and have some understanding of what's going on, then at that point, brothers and sisters, at that point that you understand what's going on, then you're no longer blind to the direction that you have to have. You're no longer blind to it. So our direction, the direction that we have to have, we can't be blind. We can't be lost, and we can't be without. In the direction that we have to have. We have to be steadfast. We have to be unmovable. And we have to be always abounding in the work. What work? The work of God that is found in before us, in the jobs that we have before us. You and I, we have to be ready today. God has called us to be ready in this day and this time. God has called us to be ready. And only God can make us ready. I want you to understand that. You have to understand that. And it's very, very important for us, brothers and sisters. It's important to me and should be important to you, right? The narrative that we live and lead for our brothers and sisters that are coming under us, the younger brothers and sisters, so that they'll know the truth. But brothers and sisters, today I've committed myself to 3 shows because there's some other shows that brothers and sisters didn't get a chance to hear. And it's not going to take me long to wrap it up about Tamika Mallory. Not going to take me long, because the only thing that you need to know is that we're dealing with an agent, indeed dealing with an agent, and this agent come from an agent. Now, first of all, we need to talk about Al Sharpton. Who is Al Sharpton, and where does he come from? You have to lay the foundation each time. So that we lay this foundation, then you understand the danger of a Tamika Mallory. You understand it. Right now, you don't understand it, right? Because she has this shroud, and it's difficult. I hate it. I hate the fact that we have to wade through, because that's what we have to do. We got to wade through finding these demons, finding these devils that we got to wade through in our finding of these demons and devils. And once we find them, then we have to be able to check and charter them to see if there's any consistency. Isn't that right? Just to find out, is there any consistency in this brother or sister? What are they teaching? And if they're teaching something, is it something that we can go along with? So we have a job to do. Isn't that right? We got a job to do. We have to discover every leader that come before us. All of them, we have to know some background information on these leaders. We can't jump up and follow them because they say they're leaders, brothers and sisters. We got to use our minds, use our head, use our heart. Now, you look at Al Sharpton, we got to talk about him. We got to talk about him. When you first saw Al Sharpton, he had a big butt, little head. Isn't that right? Now when we look at him, they polished him up and cleaned him up a little bit. He wasn't even a well-founded minister. He didn't even have a church. Didn't even have one. He's not a traditional minister. I just want you to know that. Not even traditional. Right? Not even an intelligent man. When they finished with him, he wrote a book. Right? I should say they wrote it, because they gave their narrative. They gave their narrative. So let's be plain about that. Let's certainly be plain about that. Now, I want to say this, because I think it's something that you should know. That Al Sharpton was as left-wing, right? In other words, non-conservative. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. One of the most non-conservative liberals that you find. Right? There's no standards. No standards at all. When we dealt with him back in the day, I should say back in the day, when we dealt with him, Al Sharpton had on sweatpants, a pair of Adidas or boots. Excuse me, brothers and sisters, didn't really have a focus or a motive. He was a nationalist that was all over the place. But he desired a power. He desired a place in the civil rights community, and was willing to do anything to get a place. He was one of those. You know what I'm talking about. Somebody that would do whatever it took. And most of the agents that you find, you have to know this. You have to know it. We're going to do a show on Al Sharpton too. Won't be long. Most agents, brothers and sisters, are desiring power. Most of them, if you get with any one of them, the thing that you should understand is that most of them are desiring power. Most of them that's the only thing they want. They'll sell out their mother, their brother, and anybody that will listen to them, because that's their motive. Their motive is to gain power. They don't have no stand. You can't point to me one concrete thing that Al Sharpton has done. Not one. Not one thing, except show his face with Benjamin Crump and others when they're talking about protesting. That's all. But what has he done? What program has he created? None whatsoever. He's another TD Jakes in disguise. That's all. Now, you talk about his activism, right? He doesn't have it. He doesn't have anything. He's formed no army, no nothing. He's at that time was eating plenty of chicken. The only difference is that today he's eating plenty of greens. You see, and he probably had more potential as a big man, right? Because even then he didn't even care about the way he dressed, but at least he had something to say toward the people. He didn't have an organization, right? He didn't have an organization for years. He has a brother named Ernest Glasgow. A lot of people don't know about him. Yeah, he's got a brother named Ernest Glasgow that was in Alabama when we was working out, right? On the equipment for civil rights, right? This brother, he doesn't claim this brother. Brother was a real nationalist, right? His brother keep it real. But Al Sharpton, they note him as a civil rights leader. And this is the reason why I don't want to have anything to do with civil rights. I'll tell you why. I'll do human rights, but won't do civil rights. Because, and I want you to understand this, is that we can never get civil rights. We've been begging for civil rights the entire time, and we've never gotten it. Never gotten it at all. Never gotten it. So, what I want you to understand is that, and it's something that you have to understand, is that civil rights isn't worth the paper that it's written on. Proof of which, you've been fighting for rights ever since you came out of slavery, and you still don't have it. The LGBT has more civil rights than you and I do. As a matter of fact, they're enjoying all the civil rights that we should be enjoying. And that brings me to my next point. This is what Al Sharpton and Tamika Mallory, this is what they support. The LGBT movement. In disguise. In disguise. They support anything that is anti-black men. They support it. All you got to do is watch. All you got to do is watch. Now, when we start to catch on to Tamika Mallory, we started to catch on to her game. If you recall, we started to catch on to her game, what did they say? What did they say? They came up with this airline gig, right? Said, I think it was American Airlines, and American Airlines was mistreating her. Then brothers and sisters was calling in, said, sister, we'll protect you. Isn't that right? You know I'm right. You remember, a lot of you remember. So I was saying, sister, we'll protect you. And here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. The sister didn't need any protection. She didn't need any. Because I want you to know that the federal government is going to protect their agents. Yeah, they're going to protect them. Look at Al Sharpton. Alfred Charles Sharpton Jr. Right? Sharpton was born in 1954. Yeah, they know him as a civil rights leader. Right? Now I want you to look. They got him, he's born, ironically, I don't even believe it's his real age. But he's born 1 year before the civil rights movement take off. So they give him this type of majestic birth. I'm trying to tell you, this is how you know the white man is behind it. Right? When they start writing kind words about black people, right, you already know that it's some powers and invisible powers, right? Invisible people writing these attaboys. Can I call it that? Writing these attaboys. Yeah. Yeah, that's a boy. Right? Writing these attaboys. Now, this guy with no real formal education. I said no real formal education. Now, I say that because I already know they're going to make some stuff up. They're going to make it up. They're going to make it up. And they're going to make it beautiful. Here he was. Didn't even go to college. Didn't even have a college education. When they finished, it'll be that he's dropped out of college. That's what they do. They protect their people. So they say he's this American civil rights leader, Baptist minister. I mean, talk show host and politician. I don't know where they get the politician from. They gave him a talk show, and that's lousy. His talk show is lousy. Just to listen to him is painful. When he was younger, it was even more painful to listen to him. Even more painful. And people were so sick of him then that they would jump on him and attack him. He's gotten used to it. Sharpton's supposed to be the founder of the National Action Network, whatever that is. I mean, National Action Network and haven't done anything. He runs from action. He's running from action. When he say action, he means the scene we shall overcome. And brothers and sisters, I'm so tired of hearing that song till I don't know what to do. I mean, if we haven't overcame in 400 years, right? That song is tired, right? It's about as tired as a neon sign flashing. And we got to find another rally call. That's a graveyard song. We shall overcome as a graveyard song. But that's what he sings, right? Now, in 2004, they made him a Democratic candidate. I laughed because I knew it was a bunch of crop because I know Sharpton. I remember him when we were in New York and we were marching with Dr. Collard. It was the biggest joke of nationalism to have him in. But they grab the people that they can mold, right? They want somebody they can mold and somebody that's thirsty enough to let them mold. I'm just letting you know. Just telling you what time it is because I think you should know. So in 2004, he was his candidate, right, for the Democratic nomination of U.S. presidential election. Now, I want you to just think about that for a minute and mull it over. For the Democratic nomination of U.S. president. I mean, I want you to just pay attention to that. The whole purpose of that was just to get his name out front. You and I both know, after listening to Al Sharpton, that he don't have the brains nor the wits. Now, you got to give Barack Obama some credit. He was an intelligent brother. However beautiful his sellout reputation was, right? But he was a beautiful brother. But he knew, right? He was part of that fabric of that society. And even when he went in, he didn't really go in thinking he was one of us. You see, he think he was exceptional. He didn't really think he was one of us. When he got in, they quickly showed him that he was certainly a nigger, right? However calm, however light, you're still a nigger. When you get you there, you could be the head nigger in charge, but you'll still be a nigger, right? But he had the intelligence. He was HNIC with some intelligence. So he ran the master's house. He wasn't president, he ran the master's house. You have to understand that. So Al Sharpton couldn't match up to Barack Obama, right? Couldn't match up to him. I both noted Al Sharpton come from the streets, right? And they picked him and put him in a certain category. He was happy to be there, all too happy. Oh, I appreciate it, boss. Boss, you couldn't have picked a better brother. Oh, boss, I'm going to run a good job. The game is going to be so tight until you're going to have to loosen your belt just to drink a glass of water. Don't worry about me, boss. I got it. And a happy Negro, like many Negroes, when the white people have chosen, because they'll always choose somebody who don't belong there. They don't want an intelligent black man, right, in that place because they're going to give him hell. And if they bring a fool in there, right, they're going to shape him up for the fool to give you hell. And that's the thing that we see. When Al Sharpton come out, he gives us hell, right? He hosts his own radio show, Keeping It Real, I believe that's what it was, right? He made appearances on the cable network news. They were doing all of this to put him out there. He was named the host of the, what was it, MSNBC, wasn't it? Politics Nation, right? The nightly show. Wasn't nobody watching it. It's the reason why it's not on anymore. And in what was it, 2015, the program was shifted to Sunday mornings, right? Nobody was really watching it. But they tried to throw that ball up and they wanted us to catch it. This is what they do. They continue to put black people, hopefully to get your attention, right? If they can't get your attention, then they'll block you. They'll block everything that you're possibly doing. Now, Tamika Mallory comes from this man. What is the substance of a man like Al Sharpton? And then we're going to talk about Tamika Mallory. Because her parents worked for him. So you got to know it's a whole organization, an entire organization of sellouts and coons. Entire organization. Doing boss job. Y'all's the boss. We got you. Don't worry about it, boss. We'll take care of it. Boss, I'm going to run this game like it's never been ran before. Boss, I'm going to run this game so heavy it's going to make you dizzy. And so these Negroes were happy to be in there, right? So old Charles, right? Old Charles was born in Brownsville. Same place James Brown was born, right there in Brooklyn, New York. Right? He had no talent. His mom was Ada. His father was Alfred Charles Sr. No talent. The family, they said, had some Cherokee roots. What black people don't. Right? Because the true Indian was black. True Indian was black. When you pull it, when you pull it up, they'll show you a white picture or a red picture, but the true Indian was so black with a red tint. Right? That's where the red men come from. And he preached his first sermon at the age of 4. Toured with the gospel singer Mahalia Jackson. And that may be some truth because Mahalia did sing in those areas. So we don't doubt that. But the point is, he had no substance. His activism had no substance. When he was appointed by Jesse Jackson, right, as a CIA agent, first of all, for America, then he served as youth director of the Operation Breadbasket. I'm just trying to tell you, in 1969. So they put all of these agents in place. Sharpton served in 1969. This is a year after Dr. King is killed. Who's responsible for the death of Dr. King? Jesse Jackson. And we're going to talk about him too. We're going to talk about Jesse Jackson too, because you should know it. The thing that you should know is that they are loading these copions and informants, agents, provocateurs, loading them in front of you. Loading them, and they put them in there when you're sleeping. So he hopped back and forth from civil rights to from 1969, and in 73, right? He was first after he had the 72. He worked with Shirley Chisholm, right? The presidential campaign of the Congresswoman, right? Again, presidential campaign. You know, at that time, they wouldn't let no blacks win presidency. Barack Obama, the only way that he won was because he had some white blood in him, right? He belongs to the establishment. Other than that, they wasn't letting anybody win. Now, in 73, and I want you to know this. In 73, he was with James Brown, his tour manager. I mean, he's just hopping around in all these places, right? They got him hopping around. We don't even know if he really worked with Jesse Jackson. How convenient that his name could be used together with Jesse Jackson. They may have made him to make a certain appearance to get his name out there. But I'm saying this for the people who didn't know anything about Sharpton, that he happens to know the right people. And each of these people are compromised with the exception of James Brown. Because James Brown wasn't nobody's boy. But I was trying to tell you that this man was put in certain places to keep you snowed so that you keep your eyes on it. Now, no real nationalist that I know has any faith in Al Sharpton. None whatsoever. With that being said, Tamika Mallory comes from Al Sharpton. Is that wrong? And we have to understand Tamika Mallory. Understand who her parents are. Right? Because this is a dangerous sister. A dangerous sister. Right? We don't know the ins and outs of the death of her quote-unquote boyfriend. We don't know. We don't know the ins and outs. We don't know the ins and outs. All we do know is that after this, she takes off on this campaign around the country. Right? This campaign around the country. She takes off. Right? And you have to pay attention to this, because how does someone get in that kind of position? And that's a question. And I'm talking about more than just working for Al Sharpton. You got to look at the magnitude of this position and how much it demoralizes young black men that are capable of leading this country, literally leading it. You have to question this. This is something that has to be questioned. Got to be questioned. I want you to understand this, because you have to know where we're living. It's America. What is at stake? The lives of black people. And you have to ask the right questions. Now, in every common sense, I'm happy anytime a black woman is up doing anything. I advocate for Dr. Ava Muhammad because I believe that she had what it took to lead us, and people were catching on to it. By the time she died, everybody knew her. She's making a move to move us out in an all-black community. She's making moves of nationalism. She's not talking integration. She's talking separation. And I want you to just pay attention to this. Now, while Sister Dr. Ava Muhammad is preaching this separation, right, or death, they're building up Tamika Mallory too, right? So I want you to see that. They get them young, build them on up. She had no real direction, right? They call her an American activist. Here she is, no real track behind her, right? A leader organizer in the 2017 Women's March, right? 2017 Women's March. Who first did the Women's March, the Million Women's March? Who first did it? I'm just trying to open your eyes. Dr. Ava Muhammad first did the Million Women's March. She did that. She was responsible for it, right? 1997. Just want you to pay attention to this. So that was what? 20 years. 20 years ahead. Sister Ava did it. 1997 did the Women's Million March. Now, or the Million Women March. Should say the Black Women's Million March. And that march was about culture. That march was about increasing the black family. That march was about telling a woman her place as she coexists with men. Right? Dr. Ava Muhammad again is talking about the black race, black men, black women together. Right? Showing the woman her place. This Tamika Mallory. Right? They threw a ball up, told her to catch it. The design had already been drawn, right? The blueprint was already there. All she had to do was walk into it. Why? Because if you can pull her forward, you could erase Ava Muhammad. Right?
You can erase Abraham Muhammad. And at the time that they're killing Dr. Abraham Muhammad, then you have the rise of the Uhuru nation. I'm just saying it's ironic, brothers and sisters, how the government will act to shadow and kill real leaders and reestablish other people in their place to block us out, right? And then after that, grab someone from the fold of that leadership, right, of the leader that they kill, and pull them up, and you'll find that person is saying the very same thing everyone else is saying, and is normally against everything that Dr. Abraham Muhammad stood for, or any other leader in their right. I just want you to know, because brothers and sisters, she received, and this says volume, after she was recognized in Times 100 that year, she received the Coretta Scott King Award, the Legacy Award, from the Scott King Center of Culture and Intellectual Freedom. It's 2018. Mallory is supposed to be, listen to this, is everything against what black nationalism is for. Mallory is a proponent of gun control. You know black people need guns. She is a proponent of feminism, right? And the Black Lives Matter movement. She's a component of all these things, right? We're not going to go into her father Stanley and her mother Von Seal. We're not going to do that because we already know that they work for Al Sharpton. Told you that, right? These devils have elected demons. That's what I want to tell you. It's going to keep you off course. And these people are happy to be where they are. They're happy to be where they are. They're happy to be doing what they're doing, even though it's on a sinking ship. What real thing have Tamika Mallory done? What did she really organize? She stood in front of a camera that the government placed there to say things to get you riled up. You're so used to getting riled up. Get you riled up, and you just shaking and end up praying before it's all over. And they didn't kill somebody, and all you did is set up met. And sometimes they'll bring what? Jamie Foxx has come out, right? Then they'll bring somebody else out, whoever they can use in the system to keep you and I snowed. They'll bring them out. I'm just letting you know. They have her posing with celebrities. She was just on the Red Table Talk. You look at Jada Pinkett Smith. I hate to say it. She's nothing like she used to be, right? Because now she goes against her husband and just make a complete fool of herself. Attacking the black man and attacking a brother that's trying to keep his family together. See? You got to pay attention to what's going on. It's not necessarily the people they have in front of you, but it's their objective and their focus, brothers and sisters. Thank you. So you got to pay attention to what's going on in these times. Pay attention to it because it's dangerous to us. I said we're in a war. I told you we was in a war. You know we're in a war. You know it. I don't have to tell you. You already know it. And we have to be willing to be steadfast and have some structure, right? Because we're losing our ground socially. We're losing our ground religiously. We're losing our ground spiritually. And we're losing our ground psychologically. We are literally losing our ground, right? Integrating with the sinking ship. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. And while we're sinking in this ship, brothers and sisters, we're emulating those that have caused this ship to sink. You don't want to be integrated with a sinking ship. The only direction it can go is down in the bottom. In other words, this coon game that we've been playing, this Uncle Tom game that we've been playing. Come on now, as a black race all together, Uncle Tom leaders that we've been following. Uncle Tom and Aunt Bessie leaders that we've been following have been taking us to the grave. And those of us that haven't died are too tired to live. I'm just telling you, brothers and sisters. So we've got to be wise. Got to be wise. We got to be steadfast. You know what I'm going to say it. Unmovable. Always abounding in the work that God has put before us. And what is God's message? His message is to the black man and black woman on the planet Earth, to tell us to come out from among these devils and demons and stand in the liberty that God has made us free, brothers and sisters. And we got to do it. Don't you know ain't nothing going to happen for us until we make it happen for ourselves, brothers and sisters? Don't you know it? That God has given us a beautiful mind and we're beautiful people, intelligent people, we're loving people, right? We're non-violent people until somebody touches us. Until it touches, we're non-violent. We've got to get more defensive. Is that the right word to use? I say defensive, right? I want to say violent, because the minute I say violent, they'll say that I'm teaching violence. But we've got to get defensive, right? Just like playing football. Just like playing football. You can't be offensive playing against another offense team. You got to be offensive playing against defensive, right, team? And you got to be defensive to play against offensive. Is that right or wrong? So we got to be wise. I just want you to know, because when it all come tumbling down, Tamika Mallory would be one of the ones, right, that have worked so hard for that white man, and when the time comes, he's going to kill her too, right? Because you're talking that old nonviolence, right? And the man is walking in killing you, and they'll come in and go, and she'll go to agitating people and everything. Not going to bust a grape in the fruit fight, and in no real danger, because the same government that brought her in is the same government that's going to bring her out. Proof of which she's flying American Airlines. Yes, tied up in the fabric of America. Why she got guards, why she has guards that take her home, brothers and sisters, in her house, neatly tucked in. Al Sharpton has guards too. They have millions of dollars to pay these people. Millions of dollars. Black Lives Matter. She's attached to them, right? Isn't she attached to Black Lives Matter? She's attached to Black Lives Matter. Wasn't it Black Lives Matter just embezzled millions upon millions of dollars upon billions of dollars that they had taken in? We didn't know that they had cashed all this money into the stock market. We didn't know that they were filing tax on this money. How can a 501c3 file taxes on the money they receive? So that's to tell you there's not a 501c3. It is a stock running for business. Brothers and sisters, you know. You know it. You know it. You already know these things. You already know these things. So, brothers and sisters, we got to stay the course. We got to be steadfast and unmovable. We got to be careful by every leader that comes in front of us. Because I'm still going to fight on the front lines, and so are you. But we got to be careful that we don't meet our demise by trusting individuals that look like us. Brothers and sisters, it'll be better for us to have a gunfight out with one of those devils than to have a gunfight out with our own people, or one of our own people to poison us or kill us or stab us or hang us. Yeah, that's the danger you under. The minute that the black man or black woman begin to love the system better than they do liberation, they'll do anything to keep the system in place. Even if that means killing you and me, they'll do it. They'll do that. So it's something I thought that I'd tell you. Not going to hold you long. As a matter of fact, we're pretty much done here, brothers and sisters. I'm going to put this link down for the information that you can have. Well, yes, I'll put the link down for you. Right? We're not even going to stay on that long. We're not. I'm leaning and depending on God, brothers and sisters. You should lean and depend on God. I'm going to do God's will. Those that bless us will bless us, and we're not going to worry about it. And those that don't want to, I'm not going to worry about it, brothers and sisters. I'm going to keep on doing God's will. My eyes is on God. My eyes is on God. And I pray that Allah will bless me and bless you in whatever that we do. Wherever we do. Whatever we do. So, brothers and sisters, be encouraged, be faithful, be steadfast, be unmovable, and always abounding in the work that God has set here before you. God set it in front of you. Remember that. God did it. Nobody but God. Nobody but God. And you have to get in touch with God people. Everybody that said they know God don't know God. They don't. Not everyone. Some people. God is a political statement. God is a social statement with some people. Yeah. Yeah. And so you have to know that. See, because I already know. I know what that is. Because you'll hear a lot of people use God and take it out of context. And they really don't know who God is. They really don't know. And they go around here pretending with this social Christianity. Right? And their brother and sister are dying and from hunger on the streets. Thirsty from hunger on the streets. Dehydrating to death. Freezing to death. And they're still running around fussing and doing all these foolish TikToks and all of that. And your brothers and sisters are dying in bondage, and we can't even get you to care about them. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's black people right now. That's us. That's how we do. That's how we do. But my desire, my prayer is that God will raise up a people. And I know that he's getting ready to do it. I already know it. It could be you if you turn around and act right. But black people, those that have the gift are too busy acting the fool and running amok. Yeah, running amok. Tucked and tied and told turncoats. Backstabbing people. And God would use you in your life if you would just turn around and do what God is requesting. He's not asking much. Just asking you to love your fellow man. To stand up for your fellow man. And you and I are victims of people who will not support us as we stand up for righteousness, stand up for justice, and seek to save the soul of the black man in America. To teach the lessons of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. The man that has the lesson, his message, is good for us because it tells us to come out from among that white man and do something for ourselves. For us to do it. Us. You do it for yourself. You look like a fool, brothers and sisters, expecting a man that put you in bondage to give you freedom. Why, you're out of your mind to expect him to do that. He'll never do it. He'll never do it. He'll never do it. You will spend $400 or $500 on a pair of sneakers, $800 on a dress and purse, and won't even spend $25 to make sure your brothers and sisters are eating, or children are eating, or getting clothing, or getting job training for themselves, or getting free mental health. You won't do it. But yet you'll be on TikTok showing a $400 or $500 pair of tennis shoes, right? That you won't even be able to wear, because poor brothers and sisters are rob you of these items before you get off the bus or get off the train. And that's the truth. That's the truth. You'll spend these things. This is vain. We've got to help our own communities. Got to help our own communities. An $800 purse is not going to kill you. Literally, it won't. But it'll kill the people that you can help. And I know there's somebody out there saying right now, well, sure, I work hard. I need to play hard. Ain't no wrong with me buying myself an $800 purse. I got to feed myself sometime. And maybe not. But you know, that $800 purse and that handful of money that you just handed over to the individual that you bought the purse for or from, I just want you to know that you're making racism, the system of racism, wealthy. Because 9 times out of 10, you got a product that belongs to the white man or the white woman. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I just marvel at our ignorance. Yeah, all you got to do is look at the rappers, right? Isn't that right? Can you look at the rappers? What are they doing? What are the rappers doing, brothers and sisters? Tell me. The rappers are wearing all of this Fendi and all of this stuff. It's not black designer clothes. It's not going to put one penny inside of the community. It's not going to do it. Not going to do it. Not one penny. Jay-Z and Beyonce not putting one penny in the black community. Puffy, not one penny. Not one. You look at Nas. Nas is putting money in the black community. Nas is feeding the black community because he's one of the few conscious rappers. I just want you to know. I just want you to know. Who's another rising star? Tobe. The rising star, right? Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? Right, a rising star. What is he doing for the black community? Not much. Not much at all. And you have to understand this. You have to understand this because this is what's killing us. We're killing us. Huh? We're killing us on the nationalistic side. We're killing us on the political side. We're killing us on the entertainment side. We're killing us on the artist side. We're killing us all together on the religious side. I mean, we have blood on our hands. Don't tell me what the white man does and what he's doing to us when you could do something for us and you're not doing it. When you've made it to a certain level and not doing it. You're better than me, brothers and sisters. I can't sit out there and see children hungry and see the parents on drugs and all of that and not create a program to help them. I can't do it. I can't do it. So you got me beat. I just want to let you know you got me beat. That's something that I can't do. Can't turn my back on brothers and sisters. I can't follow these shallow leaders that they put in front of us. I'm going to have to investigate and find out what's going on. I want to see what's behind it. Where do you come from? Who's promoting you? Who's promoting what you're teaching? Do you really care about the people? Tamika Mallory doesn't have one solid program that's really helping anybody black. I researched it and I know it. And I dare you to say different. And if you find it, tell me. And I mean, I want to be able to see the transactions. I want to be able to literally see them. Not one solid thing for black people. Not one solid thing for black people. But yet, this is who the white man has in front of us. This is who the white man has over you and I. Right? The white man put her there. See, that's your problem. You'll follow anyone the white man put in front of you. Dr. Ava Muhammad taught and fought for years and caught more hell than any civil rights leader, any human rights leader has ever felt to this date. And that's the fact. Caught hell, pure hell, even among Muslims, because she taught the truth. Because she taught the truth. Yes, that's right. I want you to know it. All the black Muslims, right? We say black, say it against my will, but I say it to fit the purpose. All the black Muslims didn't support Dr. Ava Muhammad. You had a massive amount of black Muslim, male and female, that were jealous of the sister. All of them didn't support her. All of them didn't support Dr. Khalid Muhammad. You had Muslims that were angry at this brother. From the top level to the bottom level. You had them, they were angry at him. So what am I saying? I'm saying that we're our own worst enemy. And we got to change that. We got to stop following these jigaboo narratives. Right? Tamika Mallory is a jigaboo. Al Sharpton, another jigaboo. Barack Obama, I don't care how much we love him, right? He's our brother. He was cosmetically the first president of the United States. Cosmetically. Another jigaboo at the highest level. Right? Isn't that right? Ralph Bunche, an ambassador for the United Nations. Right? In Haiti. Another jigaboo. And you got jigaboos all up and down history. All up and down. They're not going to do anything. Right? Not going to do anything except prove themselves to these white people. Who else is another? Louis Farrakhan.
I know brothers and sisters getting angry with me now. Another jigaboo. Bringing in white so-called red men and white so-called brown men, and bringing in white so-called yellow men and putting them in position over black men and women. So what is that? Right? Farrakhan is doing what the white man did in Christianity. He's doing it in reverse in the Nation of Islam as it relates to Minister Farrakhan. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know. This is the truth. This is the truth. And the truth will make you free. See, this truth has to make us free, brothers and sisters. It has to make us free here. And the minute that we feel freedom here, then we'll begin to get freedom here. And we'll begin to get freedom here. The minute that we hear the truth and let it shape us and mold us. See, we need to be reshaped and remolded. Right? We've got to be re-sanctified in black nationalism, brothers and sisters. Yes, we got to get some new religion. The old religion won't do. The old religion is worn out. The old songs attached to the old religion is worn out. See? They're singing, we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe. No, we shall overrun someday. Right? We shall overrun someday. We shall overgun someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overrun and overgun someday. We need to stop, as our brother Malcolm told us, we got to stop singing and start swinging. Right? We got to stop praying and start shooting. See, we got to get wise. We got to get wise, brothers and sisters. We'll never get there singing this old Millie Mouse peace song. This old Millie Mouse freedom song. We'll never get there. We'll never get there. Somebody is saying, you know they always say this. They say, well, all white people aren't evil. And I know it. I know they're going to say it. Somebody's saying it in their mind right now. The only thing I'm saying, the only way I want to answer that is to say, if you had a billion bees, if you had a billion bees, and I got on a bee outfit, and I tell you, I say, brother and sister, don't run, because those billion bees, if you let them get past and get in the middle of them, you'll find a million bees that don't have stingers. Brothers and sisters, the right term is who may not have stingers. But you and I will be out of our mind to waste our time around them. Is that right or wrong? We'll be out of our mind to waste our time around there, wading through a billion bees to get to a million bees who may not have stingers. The best thing to do is to keep running. Is that right? So we have to treat all white people the same. It doesn't matter about the exception. Those that are exceptional will know it, right? You didn't have to. John Brown was an exception, right? John Brown was an exception. You didn't have to tell John Brown that he was an exception. The mere fact that he was an exception made him act exceptional. Isn't that right? So you didn't have to tell him what to do. He went on the plantation and started killing those who were going to keep supplying the system of slavery. That was going to keep operating the system of slavery. Isn't that right? His fight, brothers and sisters, John Brown's fight was against the system of slavery. But he knew that he could, in order to control the system of slavery, he had to get the players that were enforcing the system of slavery, the owners of slaves. Isn't that right? So I just want to tell you, the white man is an exception. If the white woman is an exception, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry, because they'll be exceptional. They'll protect you. If there's anything to them, you ain't going to have to guide them to do it, and you won't have to get them on your side. They'll do justice, they'll love mercy, and they'll walk humbly before God. But let them do it. They should be doing it anyway. And if they do it, then you don't have to be around them thanking them. I so appreciate you, Missy. Thank you, boss. You don't have to do that. You know why? Because they got any kind of gumption in them. They should be doing it anyway as human beings. They should be doing it as human beings. Brothers and sisters, I appreciate you. Appreciate all you do. We got to get ready for another show. I'll be coming back in another 15 minutes. I'll be coming back in 15 minutes to do the other show. As a matter of fact, I'm sorry, I'll be coming back at 11 o'clock to do the other show. So, brothers and sisters, I look forward
to spending this time with you and teaching this message. Don't forget, we're going to have O'Malley Yesatella on one of our talk shows. We're going to be bringing the hard-hitting questions. Our brother, Ital Ayman, will be refereeing the debate and the conversation between us. It will be a conversation. We'll be asking the tough questions. If you're fighting for the black man, why do you have white people in your camp? And we have to ask, brothers and sisters. We're not trying to cause trouble, but we have to ask. You won't fight a guerrilla warfare. You won't fight a war of black nationalism with white people in your camp. You will literally lose the people. And I can't see a successful fight of black nationalism when you have the enemy sprinkled among your movement. I don't understand that. It's like the coffee, brothers and sisters. If it's black and hot, it's strong. Then you put a little milk in it, it begins to lull you to sleep. Where it was once strong, it begins to be weak. So, brothers and sisters, thank you. I appreciate you for showing up. If I didn't say it in the beginning, I say it to you now. Assalamu alaikum, which means peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.